Hi, we are what you won't learn about in the American public school system of the United States of America. This right here is Nicole.
And this is Campbell.
Hi, and today we're talking about the lovely Bess of Hardwick, also known as Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth, or as we like to call her, and many historians, Bess of Hardwick, is English and is said to have been born around 1528-ish.
There's not exactly any real record of her birth, but we can tell from different records of when she was married, what age she was, so we can kind of guesstimate when she was born.
Yep. Also, Bess is English. She's an English lady, noble, and she had a very interesting childhood and later life. And we're going to give you a rundown, the simple version, because this lady had connections. So,
Yes, she did.
Nicole.
So, Bess was born, as we said, in probably 1525. And she was born into a kind of middle noble class. Like, they owned land, but they weren't really up there.
Basically,
So
her mom married like several different times. The guy died several different times. Mom wasn't left with a lot, so Bess kind of grew up upper class, but
yeah.
basically not good upper class.
And so when she was getting old enough, around 10 or so, her mother sent her to live with a family called the Zushes. And the Zush family were higher class than them. And it was custom of the time for young women getting up in society to go work for another family so that they could learn how to be a lady by assisting the ladies of that home.
It also gave women of that time period time to make connections, network, and learn to be proper and socialize. So, while Bess was living with the Zushes, she made a lot of connections.
In the Gray family.
She became really close with the Gray family during that time period, and it's with them that she ends up meeting her husband.
Her first husband, yes. Robert Barley, we're not sure on his last name, because back then there's a lot of different spellings of last names. So it's either Barlow or Barley.
Yep. They got married from 1542 to 1543. Around that time period.
It was a very short marriage.
Yeah.
Because Robert was sick and didn't last long.
He was about 12 years old, and she was about 14. Basically, he gets sick and dies really, really early.
Yeah.
But Bess does get her jointure,
yes.
which is basically what you get paid when your husband dies.
And that's 1/3 of his estate. So whatever he owned, the widow automatically got 1/3 of that, unless there was more in his will, granting her more. And so that really got us started on collecting her estates, collecting her wealth,
turning her into the powerhouse she ended up being. So after Robert, she ends up meeting through the Greys again, Sir William Cavendish. He's a lot older than Bess is. He's knighted. He's a widower. He already has two children,
I think. He already has kids.
Yeah, girls.
So.
Who Bess really falls in love with. She loves them like her own kids. Takes care of them. So Sir William is pretty important. He is a treasurer / accountant for the king, who was at that time, was it Henry?
Henry VIII, yes.
Henry VIII at that time. And basically, it's also during Bess's marriage to Cavendish that they start purchasing land, and she starts building her own estates and everything.
And was that when she started working on Chatham House?
Chatworth?
Chatworth, yes. Chatsworth. Yes. And so the building is kind of around today, but later on her ancestors actually tore down the old version to rebuild a newer one. So you can still see the new one today in England.
Yep. It's also with Cavendish that Bess and their family actually goes into debt as the whole thing, Henry VIII dies, Edward takes the throne.
And so they started finding like some bloops kind of in their accounts that Cavendish was spending a lot more than what he had. And so some people speculate they might have been doing some embezzlement there, but then it was also a custom for people just to owe favors to each other, so that might have just been the case. So we're not really so sure.
Yep. Cavendish also let Bess start to run their household books and finances. She really liked the guy.
Mm-hmm. You're really in love.
Yeah. With William and Bess had like 6 kids, which racked up together, they had like 8 overall. They're both really hardworking. Bess is using this time to network even more. And at this time, the Grey family also starts to get into some trouble.
And the Grey family, just as a background, they're actually descended from Henry VII. So after Henry VIII is gone and his son and his 2 daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, are gone, the Grey family, whichever one is there, yes, they're next in line.
Which becomes a problem when Jane Grey is kind of like, I'll take the throne.
Doesn't last long. Let's jumping
like
ahead.
8 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
still have another husband in between there.
Yep. So after Cavendish gets sick and dies,
Bess meets dear sweet William St. Lo
during Elizabeth's reign. Mm-hmm. So basically, Sir William St. Lo is the captain of Elizabeth's guard, and they meet not through the Greys, but through some other...
Through court.
Yeah, through court.
Yeah.
By this time, the Greys are basically imprisoned, or they're hiding out in their homes.
It's not good. Yeah. It's not good for them.
So Sir William and Elizabeth, Bess, really end up liking each other. They don't have any kids, but she still has her 6 kids from her previous marriage, and then the 2 from the other William, Cavendish. And basically, she's moving even further up now in politics due to her marriage to St. Lo, as well as fixing the debt that she was left in when she married Cavendish, and how they ended.
And that debt was actually fixed by the marriage to St. Lo, because he was quite rich as the captain of the Queen's Guard. So, yeah. And that really says a lot as to why they were even married, because she had kids that his inheritance would have to support. She had debt he would have to fix. So they really married for love.
Yep. And Bess is also coming into this marriage with not only her dowry from her very, very first original marriage, but she's also coming in with her jointure from Cavendish and the first guy, Robert. He's not very important.
No.
Poor Robert.
Poor child.
Died too young. Literally. So they meet around 1559, 1565 is when they get married. They're actually around the same age. Once again, they had no kids together. And St. Lo, actually, when he does die, he's murdered by his brother. It's supposed that he poisoned him.
After the brother poisoned Bess, trying to get her out of the way. Because the brother, Edward St. Lo, wanted his brother's inheritance.
Basically. And what he didn't know, what Edward William's brother didn't know was that he was leaving every single thing to Bess.
So nothing. Even when William died, Edward didn't get anything, so whoops.
And throughout this marriage, Bess is still working on Chatwick, her favorite. Chatsworth. So basically the reason why I said Chatwicks is because she's from Hardwick. That's the land that her mother and her brother will own and that she'll end up inheriting when her brother dies. But yeah. So after Sir William St. Louis dies, Bess is literally the second most richest woman in England after Elizabeth herself.
Queen Elizabeth.
I mean, we're talking like the Queen Elizabeth, the first, the one after Bloody Mary, the one that imprisons Mary, Queen of Scots. But we're gonna get to that part. So after Bess loses her beloved St. Lo, she marries the
Earl of Shrewsbury. Yes. George Talbot.
And while their marriage started off pretty great, it didn't end that way. But at that time, Bess is actually marrying higher up in ranking. Each marriage she goes up higher in rank. And they both also meet at court, and both of them already have children, and their children actually marry each other.
But there's no incest, because technically they're not related.
None of their children are related. Except by Bess and George's marriage, but that's it. And it's actually pretty common back then, so that way that the inheritance wouldn't become overly split.
So that all the estates would stay together in the one family.
So, basically, before they're even like a good few years married, like a year or two after they're married, Elizabeth sends Mary, Queen of Scots, to live with them, Mary Stuart. And at first they start out pretty swell. They're still friends, they're still talking, George and Bess. They're writing letters, I miss you, I love you, how are you, did you think of me? Oh, well, make sure you give this to so-and-so. And then it kind of starts to take a downturn.
Because, Mary, Queen of Scots is a queen, so she needs a lot of things that are very costly.
Basically, Elizabeth tells them, treat Mary like you would treat a queen, because she is one. She must be treated as of her rank. And basically it's like, here, I'll give you this much to pay for her upkeep.
Which is not much at all.
And each time it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and George keeps writing the queen, when are you going to pay me back? When are you going to pay me back? I'm spending all this extra money on her because of what you said. Pay me back, please. And Queen Elizabeth is like, I ain't got time for you.
She's a queen, she's got busy stuff to do.
But, so there's a lot of rumors that go on about George and Mary, and eventually it gets to the point where George starts to get sick. And it's not very good for them, and that's when Bess and George's relationship starts to spiral.
There's also a lot of speculation that maybe George and Mary, Queen of Scots had a bit of an affair. Though a lot of people are just saying that because, you know, they wanted to prove that George and Bess weren't as loyal as they were at the beginning. But they were actually both very loyal to Queen Elizabeth. Because Bess had worked, like, in her chambers. She was right there, up close and personal with Queen Elizabeth for years. And George was very loyal up to the very end.
The relationship between George and Bess gets so bad to the point where Elizabeth writes them, telling them to get their act together. She's basically like, look.
Marriage counseling.
Look, George. Bess needs to be in your house, in the estate where you are at for a certain amount of time, because you're both annoying and you're both killing me with what you're doing, so get it together. And George is like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. she has to write him again. But basically, it's believed that George, not only was George Talbot getting sick, he was also having seizures.
They thought he was getting dementia.
To the point where he actually storms Chatsworth. To the point where George Talbot storms Chatsworth, and Bess flees before he gets there. She goes to Hardwick, and George steals everything. And when he's asked about it at a later date, he's like, "Oh no, I was knocking on the door asking to be let in. They wouldn't let me in. I just was trying to find somewhere to spend the night at, and it's technically my land."
But then later, Bess's first son, like her favorite William, actually goes to George's house and steals everything back.
Yep.
So,
and most of the children just from Bess and just from George, actually, all the children really liked Bess more than they liked George, except for, like, Gilbert.
But that was only after George dies. Yeah. So George does end up dying. And so all of everything basically goes to Bess. And so Gilbert, who was George's first son, didn't really think that was fair, because he was now the Earl of Shrewsbury after his father died, and so he thought that he deserved a lot more land than what he got. But see, after Bess died, most of the land that he thought he deserved would go to him, but he was impatient and wanted it now. So that caused a lot of rift in the family.
And then there was also Arabella Stuart, who technically is a princess.
She is Mary, Queen of Scots' niece.
Yep. Which actually kind of pissed Elizabeth off, as Arabella is actually Bess's granddaughter. But Bess and the Stuart mother... Was she a Stuart? She wasn't a Stuart.
I think it was one of Bess's daughters.
It was Bess's daughter married the son of the brother of the father of King James and husband to Mary Stuart. And basically Elizabeth gets so PO'd that she locks the mother in the Tower of London and kind of leaves her there, and she kind of stops eating. She kind of dies.
And so Arabella is actually in line to the throne now too. After Elizabeth's gone, she doesn't name an heir. And then after King James of Scotland, who comes over and becomes James I of England, after he's gone, Arabella is next in line.
Yep. But Arabella kind of starts acting up, causing a lot of trouble, and basically she gets put in the Tower of London too. And she doesn't make it.
Yeah.
But Bess does end up living to a pretty old age. She's like old as dirt when she dies.
Yeah, basically. For that time, she's very old. Yep.
She's still alive when King James takes the throne. So she's lived through King Henry VIII, Edward, and Mary, and Elizabeth.
In the 9 days,
Jane
Grey was in there.
And King James. And not only did she start off from a small upper class family, nobility, she also is now one of the most powerful women in England. She also ends her life still informed about what's going on in court. She keeps up to date even when she goes back to live in New Hardwick Hall, which is another thing that she built. Bess was an amazing architect.
Well, not really architect herself, but she had a lot of building plans. She had a lot of plans just to expand her estates. And I think her architect's name was Smithson.
Yeah, for her last building project, she definitely had Smithson on for building New Hardwick Hall, which is close to her childhood home, Hardwick Hall.
In New Derbyshire. Or in Derbyshire.
Which today you can actually go and see Hardwick Hall, New Hardwick Hall, and you can see a bunch of old Hardwick Hall, which is really close.
They repaired the floor a little bit so you can kind of go into it, but it's still not exactly structurally safe.
Like, you wouldn't spend the night there.
No.
At all.
But it's okay for tours.
That is Bess of Hardwick. Amazing woman.
She got what she wanted.
And she worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
there's a lovely book about her.
There's a bunch of books. This is the book that we got to read for class, which is actually the first time we ever heard of Bess, which is amazing because Mary Stuart spends at least like 15
years in her house
under her and George Talbot's protection.
Mary Queen of Scots got to be a little bit of a crybaby there, but
yeah. But Bess of Hardwick is one of the women of history that you don't hear a lot about, and that American history actually forgets to tell you in your world history classes, as well as probably in European history classes. But that's Bess of Hardwick and her lovely story. This is Nicole.
Hi. This is Campbell.
Hi. And this was this week's segment.
Women in History.
And I guess we will be seeing you guys next week.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi. We are...
What you won't learn in United States American schools.
Hi, we are what you won't learn about in the American
public school system. Just go
of
with
the United States of America.
Okay, so today we're going to be starting.
Hi, we are what you
won't learn in U.S. American public schools.
Hi.
Hey.
We're what you won't learn about in U.S. American public schools. This is Nicole.
Hi. This is Campbell.
So, today, we're going to be talking about the lovely Bess of Hardwick. Isn't she gorgeous? Now, sorry, I just got a notification. Anyways, so Bess of Hardwick is said... I'm sorry. Bess.
Higher class than them. And it was, it was a custom